Hey, what is up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. I want to start off today's video with a breaking news story of sorts. People are asking me about it, and when I saw it, I said, wow, that's some pretty amazing information. So if you haven't heard about this or seen videos about it, some other YouTube channels, I like to call them the computer voice UFO channels, have been posting videos about the recent suspension of NASA Administrator Charles Bolden after, during a conference in Houston this past Saturday, he shocked the audience by declaring that an alien invasion was imminent and that, quote, it's only a question of months, maybe years, before technologically advanced aliens invade our planet. He went on to say, quote, there are many scary things out there, and some of them have probably already taken notice of our existence. We have estimated that there are at least 30,000 other civilizations in the universe. We've been active in outer space for decades, so we've certainly already attracted the attention of at least one of them. We could be invaded at any moment. The YouTube videos go on to state that the stunning declaration clearly caused major discomfort in the crowd, and Mr. Bolden was rapidly accompanied off the stage by two other NASA employees. Many other members of NASA have publicly denounced Mr. Bolden's catastrophic prediction, saying it was only his personal opinion and not the official position of the organization. The Deputy Administrator of NASA, David Newman, tried to reassure the population by saying that NASA did not have any information suggesting that extraterrestrial life forms are getting ready to invade our planet. Finally, it says that, quote, Mr. Bolden hasn't publicly spoken since the event and has refused all demands for interviews. So, pretty amazing stuff, right? I mean, you get an email or you're browsing YouTube and you see a video with the title NASA Administrator Suspended for Claims of Imminent Alien Invasion, and you think, man, this is the smoking gun stuff. It doesn't get any better than the Administrator of NASA. And so the computer voice UFO channels, mainly one in particular that's been gaining popularity and has a history of posting stories like this, was the catalyst for this story really breaking. But as I did maybe 1 second of research, I found the original source of the story, which is a website called worldnewsdailyreport.com. How legit does that sound? And so you're seeing the webpage here with the original article of the same title. And as we scroll down, passing by some of the comments on the article from people who seem to be taking it at face value, but literally directly under that, and it would seem no one took the time to check had they just scrolled down, was this disclaimer here at the bottom, which reads, quote, World News Daily Report assumes all responsibility for the satirical nature of its articles and for the fictional nature of their content. All characters appearing in the articles in this website, even those based on real people, are entirely fictional, and any resemblance between them and any person, living, dead, or undead, is purely a miracle. So, to those of you who saw the YouTube videos about this that are spreading like wildfire, here's your answer. This is obviously a fake news website. They admit it. It's a satirical news website. And yeah, it's complete nonsense. So I wanted to let you guys know because I'm getting tons of messages about it. And maybe if you end up seeing the video later or someone sent it to you, then you can say, all right, Tyler spoke about this. And then you don't have to waste your time reading the article or listening to the computer voice, earning him more ad revenue while taking advantage of the gullible. So, now that we've got this out of the way, how about some real footage and information? I want to start out with a new clip that was posted by the YouTube channel Up Into Space, and it's a beautiful 4K resolution compilation video that was recorded from the International Space Station, and I'm showing you that here. I'll just let this play for a minute, and I'll put the link to the original down in the video description. Beautiful imagery here of them orbiting around the Earth, docking with the International Space Station. Some great views of the ball Earth for all of you flat earthers out there. This is indeed some of the most beautiful space footage that you will likely ever see. So I'm going to fast forward and go to the spot here, and we've caught something very enigmatic. So at around the 7-minute 30 mark, the camera cuts to a view of one of the astronauts doing a spacewalk, and this happens really quickly, but I want you to pay attention to the darkness of space to the right of the astronaut and to the right of the solar panel here. And you're going to see something very quickly fly into view and past the space station. Happens really quick before the clip immediately cuts to something else. So here it is, and we'll analyze it in just a second. So watch this. And there it is. So happens very, very quickly. And so when I slowed this down and I looked closer, I discovered what appears to be either one large object moving back behind the space station, or multiple objects of different shapes. I'm going to show you what I mean here. So we're playing the footage slowed down a bit, and I want you to notice the main reflective object that comes into view. You can clearly see that it's basically almost flying straight towards the camera from a far distance back behind the International Space Station. So it's actually coming in at an angle towards the camera, and then it curves and makes sort of a left-hand turn before flying out of sight. But that's not the only thing we see. And you can notice how the camera cuts very quickly after this object appears. And there's actually a lot of activity happening in the background here. But we see this main object come into view, and if you guys didn't notice it yet, in the lower left, and I'll pause this here, and notice what seem to be two other objects that are moving in complete unison with the main UFO. And so we see here what almost looks like a triangular formation, where we have the main source of light passing, and then following behind it, moving with it, we see two other reflections of light. So if this reflective object wasn't anomalous enough, what's even more anomalous is the object behind it, which takes on a completely different shape and almost has a saucer shape to it. And this is not a result of blurring or anything like that, because as this thing passes and reflects light, it holds its shape, like we've seen on many of the saucers over Earth. And then we have another object directly above it that again seems to be attached to it. And all three of these objects again are moving in unison, so I'm wondering, are these three separate objects or are they all part of one? And you know, this reminds me of another clip we featured that you guys saw a couple weeks ago, where on an older piece of International Space Station footage, we captured another, what can only be described as a massive craft, passing behind the International Space Station. And what we originally thought were a bunch of different UFOs passing by, we later found out after analyzing that all of these reflections are part of one large object. And you can clearly see that as they pass back behind the ISS. This is just one giant thing. And that, I gotta tell you, that's one of the best pieces of footage I've ever seen. Very eerie. Something really large passing by. And so is that what we have here? So now we're looking at a contrast enhanced version. So I've upped the brightness and the contrast. And I'll let it play here in slow motion. So maybe we have a fleet of something passing by back here. But it's amazing stuff. Check out the 4K version, watch it on your big screen, and maybe you'll get a better view. Now, some other UFO footage. Here is a clip that was captured over Nashville, Tennessee. So check this out.
Hey, mister, what is that? Misty. What in there? I'm recording it. What the hell is that? I have no idea.
Alright, so again, captured over Nashville, Tennessee. I got an email from a viewer who said, hey, I captured this video of these 2 red orbs, and of what I originally thought may have been simply a Chinese lantern. That is until they started changing directions and doing 180-degree turns as if they were being piloted. And yeah, that's the same thing I thought when I originally started watching this. But then the way this thing does a complete 180 and turns back around and goes into the opposite direction as if it's moving or is being controlled, that made it more interesting. And, we've captured these orbs before, all over the place, in fact, and many times you'll either see them in a triangular formation or in what most of the times I've seen, formations of 2. And at times they'll be moving, other times they will just literally sit as if they are locked in the sky, not affected by wind, anything, and will sit there for hours before finally disappearing. And, we've been seeing these all over the place. Here's another set of images captured over North Carolina that were recently sent to me of, again, a formation, triangular formation of lights sitting above this housing complex. And then we have another set of 2 lights off to the left here. And again, the viewer of these photographs said that these things sat there. They did not move, they did not float, they did not make any sounds, they just sat there. And so he took a picture out of his car as he was passing by. He didn't have space to take a video, but he did take a couple photographs showing these things. Some of them are more blurry as he was moving by, but you can see in each frame, these things do not move. They just sit there. And so this is a perfect example of what I was just talking about. These things will sit there in the sky. It's really, really strange. And, you ask, what would be the purpose? Why are they sitting there? Why would they have lights? And, that's almost like explaining an ant how an automobile or a computer works. You would have to think that there is a reason, and we just are unable to comprehend it. And, well, there's the possibility that these are military craft, possibly back-engineered from alien technology. We know that they have this tech. So, 2 very interesting sightings, one over Tennessee, one over North Carolina. And while you're looking at this triangular formation, before we go today, I want to show you a very interesting photo that was tweeted to me by a viewer out of Wisconsin and said, quote, saw this on radar earlier tonight. Pretty weird. And what you're seeing here is just your normal weather radar from Fox 11 News. And instead of seeing, your normal storm cells, we're seeing a perfect triangular shape that is appearing on this weather radar system. Really weird. I don't have any other information about this, but we've seen a lot of these strange shapes before, captured on weather radar, that most of the time go completely unexplained. In a lot of these instances, we will see shapes like this that appear as a storm, but to the people who are actually underneath it, there was no storm. It never stormed, there was no weather. And so that leaves the question, what the hell is this? And I'll leave it up to you guys as to what it is in the sky that's being picked up on this radar system and causing this shape here. I think it's pretty obvious. But with that, let me know what you guys think. Oh, and before I forget, I wanted to show you guys some really cool pics that were emailed to me by a viewer who basically said that he was sorry to hear what's going on with YouTube and the advertiser boycott, and that unfortunately he couldn't afford to support the channel, and so instead what he did was something really awesome. And so he plays one of the world's most popular racing sims games. It's called iRacing, where you can create your own skins and paint jobs for the race cars. And so, as you're seeing here, decided to create a Secureteam skin for one of the cars that he races in the game. And it's like a multiplayer game, so you're playing with live people from all over the world, millions of people. And so he said this skin is being seen by everyone that races. Hopefully, this will get some more viewers to the channel. And I just gotta say, this is really, really cool. He's got the logo on the front. He's even put the link to our official Patreon page on the side here. And so yeah, I thought that was really awesome. So, I'm gonna post the pics and give you a shout out, buddy, for doing this. So big thanks to Dave LeClaire for taking the time to do this and then emailing them over. And I really appreciate it, man. Awesome. Good job. Thank you all. Thank you all for your support. All of you guys are awesome. I have one of the best viewer bases a YouTuber could have, and I mean that. So with that, have a great rest of your night, guys, and I will see you all back in just a bit.